Hello again, this is Roaming Gamer, and this is another video about the Starters Core, the kit you can download and try, and then if you like it, you can buy a copy. If you didn't see my other video, in a nutshell, basically this is a framework kit that comes with some starter templates for interfaces, and it also gives you the ability to show AppOdeal and AppLovin ads very easily, and to control those in such a way that just makes them more consistent and much easier to use. Also, it provides a wrapper for the in-app badger, which really is quite easy to use by itself, but this takes it to a whole new level and makes it just a few lines of code to add in-app purchases and to use them. In fact, it does a little bit of code generation too, and you can read about that on the Easy in-app page. So this kit comes with, or it doesn't come with, but rather it has online documentation. But back to today's video. Today's video is about the Button Maker library and the ability to generate button presets. So the Button Maker it's really just it's a fancy name for a very small module that lets you make push buttons, toggle buttons, and radio buttons. And you can do so using what is called a preset. Now, a preset is it's a table that you define once, and then you store it away in a sense, and then later you can make 10 copies of that button type by just saying, make me a push button and use whatever button it was called. So, for example, the play button or the sound button, etc. So it's just it's a nice way to control your buttons and an easy way to generate them. So the generation part of this is that, let me show you what we've got here. If we look, we can see, you can see my whole desktop there. If we look, you can see that there is a folder in the game called Images Buttons. And in here we have a bunch of flat artwork, the Kenny artwork, if you're familiar with Kenny's artwork. And that is what I'm currently using for the sound button and the play button. But let's say perhaps that I wanted to use some other free artwork, or paid artwork if you wish. This is free. So something a little prettier like this. How would I get that in there? Well, for this example you can simply download the art, but let's assume that you're using your own art. So go ahead and get your own art, and then let's say we want to replace the play button. So what you want to do is, if you've got two images for the play button, go ahead and name one of them play underbar select, or SEL, and the other one play underbar unselect. So the play select is basically when you click on it, the gold button will show, and when it's not clicked, this white button will show. And another naming convention you can use is the on-off concept. So for example, let's say the button, let's look at the flat one first. So in the flat artwork I have a sound off and a sound on button, and they're two different pieces of artwork. So as you can see, off, on. So when you're generating, if you have two pieces of artwork and they are for the sound button or anything else that has an on-off concept, you can just give the name whatever it is, sound off, sound on. So we've got those. Okay, so you can get this artwork, I'm not being real clear here, you can get this artwork by going to my free stuff archive and going into the try before you buy folder and free button art, and then you can download Casual, Kenny, or Medieval, and the credits for these are here. These are all free pieces of artwork you can get at various places. And I've taken the extra step for you in this case of separating out these. So Medieval and Casual come in big sheets that you then have to separate into individual sheets or individual images and rename. So I've done that just for simplicity. Go ahead and download those. And then what you want to do is make a copy of one of the frameworks. So I've got one called, I've copied the initial framework, framework 1, and I called it Super Game. Go into Images Buttons, and I keep saying, I did this video once and I had to start over. Before you start, actually go to the simulator and make sure that your preferences are to never restart the simulator, because we're going to make changes in the folder and we don't want to crash the game, and we don't want it relaunching while we're doing that. Okay, so back to the folder. Delete the images that I have there. Go find the images that you want to replace them with. Paste them in. And then go to the folder. Sorry. Go to the folder presets and open up the file presets.lua. It's going to look like this, very short file. Find this line, uncomment it, save the file, come over to the simulator and relaunch. And what that's going to do is it's going to parse through all of those images we just copied in there, and it's going to generate this file, presets.gen. So this file is generated, and it basically looks at all those images, measures them, and then uses a preset definition as the base, and then substitutes in the artwork. Okay, so the only other thing we want to do now is go back here and comment that back out. We don't want to run it every time, so now if we rerun it, it doesn't regenerate. It simply uses the one we generated. And that's basically it. There's really nothing much more to it. Provide the artwork, use an appropriate naming convention, which I've explained, and then regenerate, and you're good to go. So, and then you can always go, if it's confusing, you know, you're like, oh, what was the name of that preset? You can just come over here to presets.gen, open the file up, and if we wanted to use the left button, we would use left. Achievements, basic, and so on and so forth. And just for clarity, let me show you how we use those, although the documentation does spell it out. So again, you can go to the docs page and button maker, and then you can go to, where is it? You can go to the push button, toggle button, radio button, docs, and they talk about how you call the function, what the parameters are, etc. But let's go ahead and look at a piece of code because I always find that easier. Let's go to the play scene. So you want to require, you want to say button maker, require easy button maker. And then in your code, you could make a play button like this. Button maker, easy push, open table, parent, the group that it goes in, preset. I'm not sure why I did that. Oh, I'm on the play scene. Sorry, I meant to go in the home scene. Let's do the home scene. There we go. Okay, the play button. So button maker, easy push. Parent is the group you want to insert it into. Preset, we're going to use the play preset. So for example, let's say we were doing achievement button. We would just do achievement. And then relaunch that. Oh, and of course not. I probably can't spell. Let's go take a look here. Yeah, achievements. There we go. Let's try that again. Relaunch, and we should see the achievements button there. There it is. Easy peasy. I'm going to put that back to the play button. X, the X position we wanted at, Y, the Y position, and then the listener, the function that's called when we press it, which is basically this little piece of code that goes to a new scene. Anyways, you guys can go ahead and download this code. It's all available. Give it a look-see. If you feel like this kind of thing is going to be useful to you, by all means, go ahead and buy a copy. If you don't, you don't. It's cool. So I hope you guys like this, and I hope you can see that it's real easy to use and kind of powerful. And of course, if you guys have any questions about how to use it, go ahead and post in the forums. And if you have any questions about future features or additional features, again, post in the forums and let me know. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.